Guys, it's Super Dr. Mojo here. We're going to take a look at how this CRF does off the road. Hey guys, so first I want to apologize for not putting out a video before. With Christmas and Thanksgiving and a wedding I had to go to, I hadn't had the time to sit here and edit. I'm finally putting one out. And I also want to apologize because this video is going to be pretty long, but I'm going to try to do all the talking at the beginning just to get it out of the way in case you guys have something better to do than watch me ride. You can just stick around for a few minutes and then whoever wants to watch the rest happily do so. Now this video was recorded over 2 different days. On the first day I went, which is what you're watching now, it was pretty dry. It was a sunny day. It was in the 60s, and I was riding with a group of small bore dirt bikes. So there was all 125 and under, 110s. There's an 85 there. So you'll see them in a little bit. And the next day you'll see later on was a day when I went when it had just rained the day before, maybe a few days before. It rained a lot, so there was a lot of mud. So I was really able to try out the CRF in these different scenarios and really test it out, you know, in the mud and stuff, which was kind of cool. So if you've never ridden with a bunch of small bikes, I suggest you go do so. It's a lot of fun. You'd think that you're, you know, always trying to get ahead of everybody, but since they're so small and lightweight, they really push their bikes, and so they're really hitting it hard because they're not afraid to drop them, and it's a lot less weight for them to move around, so it's actually easier for them to go fast than it is for you, especially around some of the corners and stuff. So I had a lot of fun. The CRF really did good out here. It's my first time on a dirt with this dirt bike. Now I've ridden dirt before, but you see I kind of started off slow because I really didn't know how the tires were going to do. I am on the stock tires and I've heard pretty bad things. But in this terrain it was actually pretty good. I really didn't have any complaints. The tires had enough traction. Where I really had issues was in the mud, and the next day I actually fell 3 different times and I bent my bars, so that's going to be one of the things I upgrade pretty soon. Our bars aren't really made to handle a lot of weight. So rentals are coming pretty soon. So I never really had any issues riding behind these guys. The bike, like I said, performed very well. The tires were good enough for what it was. Suspension was pretty good also. I didn't have any issues there. You know, a lot of people say that the suspension is really soft. I didn't really feel that. But, you know, I was riding on pretty flat ground. There are parts where there are pretty big rocks and it gets kind of rocky, and you'll see when the camera starts shaking a little bit more. But for the most part, they were, you know, these tires are pretty alright. If these are the only tires you have and you're afraid of not being able to hit the dirt, you know, don't be afraid. They did pretty good. You know, you don't have to go buy specific tires if you want to just do this. And if you have them, then more power to you. But eventually I'm going to get different tires just because of the mud. But for this, you know, these were perfect. They did fine. And you can obviously see that. Now, it's not really just the tires that were the reason why I fell. In a second, I'm going to talk about the ride height was kind of a big factor also. Some of these trails have really big drops. And so me being 5'8", this bike is pretty tall. And so when I put my feet down on the street, you know, both tippy toes are touching, and you know, but I'm not flat-footing both feet. Now, whenever there's a drop to one of your sides, or whatever it may be, and gravity takes you, and you put your foot down and you can't reach the ground, all of a sudden all the weight comes to one side and you fall over. That's kind of what happened. It happened 2 or 3 times. Like I said, the bike is fine, just a few scratches, but hey, the plastics are $200 to replace all of them, and eventually I will. But what I was trying to use the bike for what it was for, and off-roading and stuff. As you can see, it handles great here. But if you are kind of short like me, and you're trying to go out here in the mud, make sure you get better tires, because if I would have had the right tires, I could have been able to power through, you know, and get some traction. But since it was kind of slippery and I couldn't reach when the bike tipped a little bit and I slipped a little bit, the bike just fell. So yeah, get better tires. Now this is the next day when I came back. This video is actually of my little brother. He had the camera on, so I kind of want to get some footage of the CRF, but you can see he's ahead of me a lot of the time, so we don't get a lot of that. But it just shows you more of the terrain. You can definitely tell how a smaller bike feels more of the terrain opposed to a bigger bike. But that's because also this bike has a harder suspension, so he's going to feel everything a little bit more. But so just for comparison, you can tell. So I forgot to mention our friends on our four-wheeler. It's a 250 two-stroke. So you see a lot of smoke. It's probably from him, not from the CRF. You guys will start seeing pretty soon. The CRF handles really good in the mud as long as you get enough traction power through it. These puddles are pretty deep. In a second I'm going to show you guys how deep they are because I had my little brother go through one. A lot of Jeeps come out here, and so they really dig these puddles, or whatever you want to call them, pretty deep. But I never got stuck with the CRF. I never had any issues with the CRF. The only time, like I said, we're on really clay, muddy hills where I couldn't reach when I crossed, and so kind of sped it up just when he crossed. But you can see it's pretty high. It's up to his knees, and it's about my height, so a lot of water. But the CRF never had any problem. Coming up is a perfect example of what the CRF can do. Obviously, the car drew that very easily, but I guess so did my little brother, so not a great example. But yeah, this bike did good. I'm kind of gonna let you guys just watch the video from here on out. I don't have much else to say. Get better tires if you're gonna do mud. You guys will see what we were riding through, and like I said, most of the time, I think 2 or 3 times when I dropped it, it was because I couldn't reach really. So if you can kind of see there, I'm barely on my tippy toes. If you're shorter, let me either lower the bike or get some boots or something. So this is actually where I fell in a second to show you guys, but it was because after I got past this little part, I couldn't put my foot down. Whereas if you're on a small bike, you can easily put your foot down and help yourself out of there, but I couldn't do that on the CRF. But overall, I had a lot of fun on the bike. No issues. The bike performed well. I cleaned it up easily the next day, and other than a few scratches, the bike is fine. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you guys ever want to watch anything else, or have any suggestions or comments, just let me know. As always, trust me, I'm a doc.